So people, in this video we want to look at otitis externa, right? So basically we are in this chapter diseases of external ear, under that otitis externa. So here it is very easy to understand this term. Externa means something external. Otitis, so basically oto is ear, right, and itis is inflammation. So inflammation of the external ear, okay. So if it is inflammation of external ear, first of all, what is external ear? So tympanic membrane, till tympanic membrane, that's your eardrum, till your pinna, that is your external ear. Okay, so in diseases of external ear, one of it is otitis externa, that is any ear canal problem, inflammation of ear canal will become otitis externa. So is this clear? So basically under external ear, what and all parts are there? You have the pinna, you have the external auditory canal and the tympanic membrane. These three parts are there. So under diseases of external ear, you will come across diseases of the pinna, diseases of the external auditory canal and diseases of the tympanic membrane. So currently we are considering the diseases of the external auditory canal, in which you have congenital disorders, trauma to this auditory canal, inflammation, tumors and miscellaneous conditions. Currently what is the topic of the video? Inflammation, that is otitis externa. Okay, so where does this come? Under diseases of the external auditory canal, which is coming under the diseases of the external ear. So basically it is an itis, right? So it is an inflammation of the external ear. Okay. So shall we move forward? Moving forward. Diseases of, okay, so we are here, otitis externa, right? So we are looking at the otitis externa, inflammation of the external auditory canal. Under this we have two types. So inflammation can happen because of infection, right? Inflammation, this inflammation can happen because of infection or some reaction. So infective causes are like infection with what? With bacteria, with fungi, with virus, okay. So three infective conditions they have explained. Reactive will be like eczematous otitis externa, seborrhoic otitis externa and neurodermatitis. We will come to these. First of all, what are the types of inflammation of the otitis externa or otitis externa? What are the types? Here you have infective and reactive. Under infective you have simply three things: bacteria, fungi, virus, right? Bacteria, fungi and virus. Under reactive you saw some what was that? Eczematous otitis externa, seborrhoic otitis externa and neurodermatitis. Can you see these names? Eczematous, seborrhoic and neurodermatitis. Okay. Let us look at some more terminologies here. Under bacteria you have localized otitis externa. It's called furuncle. Localized, if it is diffuse means more, it will be in all areas. That will be diffuse otitis externa. Usually it is seen in swimmers. Okay. So remember this diffuse otitis externa. It is like all over, diffuse, right? So it will be usually in swimmers, etc. So they may call it swimmers here, but that word is not exactly there in our textbook. Malignant otitis externa. Malignant otitis externa is a very important topic for the exam. We'll come to that. Now coming to fungi. Under fungi, okay, under fungi, if it is because of fungus, if the external auditory canal infection is caused because of the fungus, it is called as otomycosis. I think this diagram is better than the previous one because this is not highlighting the pinna as much. So basically we seem to be talking about the auditory canal. So fungi, if fungus has caused this infection, then what is it called as? Otomycosis, because myco means, you know, it is mycology, study of fungi. So otomycosis. Under virus you have herpes zoster oticus and otitis externa hemorrhagica. So herpes zoster, herpes virus, right, the varicella zoster virus. So basically this will cause herpes zoster oticus. So basically this is nothing but, what do you mean herpes zoster oticus is? Usually this comes in immunocompromised people, isn't it? Usually this zoster word, if you know, they are using it only in reactivation cases, right? So it's also called as shingles and all that. But here we are not talking about that. We are talking about the ear part. Ear part will be called as herpes zoster oticus, right? So herpes zoster oticus, and it is then there is one more condition here, otitis externa hemorrhagica. Okay. This eczematous otitis externa, and this is all because of hypersensitivity to some organisms or topical ear drops, etc. So this is a hypersensitivity. What is seborrheic otitis externa? It is associated with the seborrheic dermatitis of the scalp. This one, neurodermatitis, psychological factors are there here. Itching, scratching, etc. Actually here they are talking about one more terminology, that is the primary cholesteatoma of external auditory canal. The textbook is not very clear on where they have placed this. Maybe in the next version they'll make it proper. Okay. There is primary cholesteatoma of external auditory canal also that they have mentioned. Okay. So they are saying this could be usually because of trauma, etc. So let's do one thing. Now let us look at each one of this in much detail. Just remember, malignant or necrotizing otitis externa is very important for the exam. It is actually caused by Pseudomonas infections, okay? In elderly diabetics. So, Pseudomonas infection in elderly diabetics, okay? So, basically they could also be diabetics or immunocompromised people. Okay, and in this case it is called as necrotizing, remember, malignant or necrotizing otitis externa, okay. Usually it will be in elderly diabetics or immunocompromised people, Pseudomonas infection. This will be severe otalgia, means pain, ear pain will be severe in this case. Guys, how's it going? Are you able to understand something? So what are we discussing? External ear canal. So that inflammation, it can be because of bacteria, virus, fungi, or it could be because of some eczematous condition, or seborrheic, or neurodermatitis, or they are saying it could be primary cholesteatoma of external auditory canal. So basically this localized otitis externa is also called as furuncle. This is caused because of staph infection, right? Staphylococcal infection of the hair follicle, okay? Staphylococcal infection of the hair follicle. So you can imagine it's going to be a localized condition. It's also called as furuncle. So, in the ear, if you remember, right, this is the ear canal. So, the ear canal, there are two parts. There is cartilaginous part and bony part. So, the cartilaginous part is the one that has the hair. You can see here the hair is there in the, can you see the hair here? Cartilaginous part. So, where will the furuncle be located? It will be in the cartilaginous part of the meatus, okay. Usually these furuncles can be single or they can be multiple also. Usually they can give systemic antibiotics and this analgesics to reduce the pain, right? Then what else? Diffuse otitis externa, like we told you, it can happen in swimmers because of hot, humid condition in the ear canal, right? And this can spread to the pinna also. Even if there is excessive sweating, right, this changes the pH of the meatal skin. So, if it becomes alkaline, then it will favor the growth of pathogens. So, diffuse otitis externa, what do you think the cause will be? Again, Staphylococcus aureus, Pseudomonas, Bacillus proteus, E. coli also, okay. There can be even mixed infection. In diffuse, guys, there can be two phases, like acute phase, chronic phase. Acute, it could be chronic, right? How will you treat this diffuse otitis externa? So you will do ear toilet, right? So all exudates and debris should be meticulously and gently removed. How will they do this ear toilet? By dry mopping, suction clearance, or irrigating the canal with warm, sterile, normal saline. Guys, we are just telling you high level only. So, how is it going? You think it's fine or you want some other kind of overview? Each of this should be covered in a separate video. Just let us look at some basic things, okay? So, diffuse otitis externa you can treat with then medicated Vicks, antibiotics you can give. To reduce pain, they'll give analgesics, etc. Let's move on to then which one? Malignant, we already told you, right? Pseudomonas infection in elderly diabetics or immunocompromised. The problem with this one, malignant necrotizing otitis externa, is that it can spread to the skull base, jugular foramen, and it can cause multiple cranial palsies. So this one is, that is why they have given the name malignant, okay, though it is not actually a cancer or anything. They have given this name probably because it spreads everywhere. What else? So anteriorly, this malignant necrotizing otitis externa, anteriorly it can spread to the temporomandibular joint. Posteriorly, it can spread to the mastoid. Anteriorly to temporomandibular joint, posteriorly to mastoid. And medially, where will it go? Medially, it can go into the middle ear and the petrous bone, okay. So in this case, there will be severe otalgia, like we told you. And basically, there will be granulation tissue in the external ear canal, okay. And that too, where in the external ear canal? Between this cartilaginous and bony nerve, that junction, there it will be there, okay. Then you can see CT scan, there can be bone destruction. Gallium-67 is more useful in the diagnosis, it says. Technetium-99 bone scan also can be used, they are saying. Technetium-99 bone scan also they can use, okay. So how will you treat this malignant necrotizing otitis media? Basically, you know it is in diabetics, right? So you will try to control diabetes. Then what else? Toilet of the ear canal, antibiotics you can give. So basically antibiotics, they are saying gentamicin, but it is ototoxic, nephrotoxic, right? Then cephalosporins, third generation cephalosporins like ceftriaxone, ceftazidime. Quinolones can be given like ciprofloxacin, ofloxacin, levofloxacin, okay. You can also combine these with rifampicin. Interesting. Finally, they have suggested radical surgery resections, okay. So we are done with the infective, that is the bacterial condition. So did we tell you about this otomycosis already, caused by Aspergillus niger, Aspergillus fumigatus, Candida albicans, all that? So basically Aspergillus niger, when you see, it will appear black, right? Filamentous growth you can see in otoscope. So Aspergillus niger, Aspergillus fumigatus, Candida. Okay, again what will you treat? How will you treat this? Ear toilet, remove the discharge. Then what else? Specific antifungal agents like nystatin. So many things you can give. Broad spectrum antifungals you can give like clotrimazole, povidone iodine, salicylic acid and alcohol. Coming to herpes zoster oticus, guys, we are here now, virus, right? So we are just taking another look at these. Now let us look at virus. How is it going so far, guys? So we are looking one by one again. We finished the bacterial, then we finished the fungal. Now we look at the virus again. Okay, we're looking at some more details here. Herpes zoster oticus. So basically here you can see vesicles on the tympanic membrane, meatal skin, concha, post-auricular groove, all this you can see. Here what cranial nerves will be affected? 7th and 8th cranial nerves can be involved, okay. Then, what is this otitis externa hemorrhagica? Let's look at this. Basically in this one, right, otitis externa hemorrhagica, see the tympanic membrane will have hemorrhagic bullae, okay. There will be hemorrhagic bullae on the tympanic membrane and the deep meatus. So this is probably virus in origin and they think it could be seen in influenza epidemics, okay. So where will you see it? Influenza epidemics. So virus, obviously, influenza virus. So this causes severe pain in the ear, blood-stained discharged when the bullae rupture. When these bullae will rupture, there will be blood-stained discharge. So some bullae they are talking about red hemorrhagic, right? So let's keep red here. So otitis externa hemorrhagica. So when these bullae rupture, there will be blood discharge, right? Blood-stained discharge. How will you treat this? Basically give analgesics to reduce the pain. Antibiotics only you will give only if there is bacterial secondary infection. Otherwise, they have not mentioned any other treatment here, okay? And they are saying in case it ruptures to the other side, right, into the middle ear, then also they can give antibiotics so that they can prevent the secondary infection from bacteria. Guys, before we close this video, just let us look at these three again, okay? Eczematous otitis externa, seborrheic otitis externa and neurodermatitis. Again, let us look at them quickly. What did we see about eczematous otitis externa? It's hypersensitivity, right, to either organisms or to some ear drops like chloromycetin or neomycin, right? So it could be, it is a hypersensitivity reaction basically, right? It could be to organisms or to eardrops, etc. So there will be irritation, vesicle formation, oozing, crusting in the canal. So what will you treat it? You just withdraw these antibiotics and you can give some steroid creams because it is hypersensitivity. Seborrheic otitis externa. So here it is associated with the scalp. Seborrheic dermatitis of the scalp, itching. So here itching will be there. So it is associated with the scalp condition, right? Associated with the scalp condition, right? And here there will be itching, itching, itching. Okay. Itching is the main complaint. Greasy yellow scales are seen in the external canal. So when you look at the external canal, you will see greasy yellow scales. Okay. Then you will see it in the external, where and all you will see these yellow scales in the external canal and the lobule and post-auricular sulcus. How will you treat this? You will give, again, ear toilet, application of cream containing salicylic acid and sulfur. And you will also look at the scalp for seborrhoea. Then, so this ear toilet is nothing but, it's also called as oral toilet. So you will just clean the external auditory meatus, right? You will remove the wax, discharge, debris, all this. Okay. Last one here, guys, neurodermatitis. Basically, in this, we told you some psychological, right? Psychological factors are there. So there will be a lot of scratching, itching. Then, so they are telling sympathetic psychotherapy is the treatment. Treatment is sympathetic psychotherapy. Okay. And if there is any secondary infection, they will treat that. So ear pack, bandage of the ear is helpful to stop these people from scratching a lot. Here in primary cholesteatoma of external auditory canal, just look at this one extra thing that seems to be hanging in this topic of otitis externa. So basically here, primary cholesteatoma of the external auditory canal. They're talking about the external auditory canal, primary cholesteatoma. So here the squamous epithelium will invade the bone, right? So there is some abnormality of the bone. Then this abnormality of the bone will, allow this invasion to happen. That's what the textbook says. And this could be post-traumatic or post-surgical. So the clinical features in this will be otorrhoea, right, pain, tympanic membrane will be normal, they are saying. Granulations associated with sequestrated bone. So you will have to do some histological examination here. How will you treat this? So basically you will remove the necrotic bone and the cholesteatoma and line this defect with some fascia, okay. So you'll put some fascia there to line the defect after removing that bone or cholesteatoma. Yay, so we finished this otitis externa, this, which comes under the diseases of the external ear. So we saw that it is a disease of the external auditory canal. So it is nothing but the inflammation, otitis externa. So what else did we see here? We saw the causes. It could be infective causes, which could be caused because of bacteria, or it could be because of fungus or because of virus. In bacteria, we saw localized otitis externa, furuncle because of the hair follicle, diffuse otitis externa because of heat, humidity, wetness, right? This could be acute, chronic. We saw the treatment for it. Malignant necrotizing otitis externa, we saw in diabetics it can happen, or immunocompromised people. There will be granulation tissue at the junction of the cartilaginous and the bony external auditory canal. This we'll do some gallium-67 or technetium-99 kind of investigations. Coming to fungus, we saw otomycosis. Fungus causes otomycosis. Aspergillus niger, Aspergillus fumigatus, Candida. All these are the fungi. If it is Aspergillus niger, it will appear like black-headed filamentous growth, right? Virus, we saw herpes zoster oticus. There'll be vesicles, right? Otitis externa hemorrhagica, we saw because of the influenza virus, right? That will affect the tympanic membrane with some bulla, right? Hemorrhagic bullae. Then coming to reactive, we saw eczematous otitis externa, hypersensitivity reaction, seborrheic otitis externa associated with the scalp condition, and neurodermatitis, something to do psychological, lot of scratching and itching and all. Primary cholesteatoma of the external auditory canal also we saw. So that's all for now in this video. Hope you have got an introduction kind of a thing to otitis externa. For more, please read the textbook. Okay, that's all for now. Bye-bye.